Okay, it's 9 p.m. on Friday, and you're still stuck working at your desk once again. And it's not because you're behind, it's because this one client has changed their mind for like the 13th time, and it's just affecting your workload. This is Lauren Fogelman with Business Success Solution. And as a result of that, when this happens, you debate with yourself, do you push back or do you just cave in, fix it, move on, because it's the path of least resistance? So here's something to think about. This is not a time management issue. It is about really having boundaries and you knowing how to be able to prevent this from happening instead of getting caught in this trap once again. So we want to acknowledge that this is a client compatibility issue. And it started long before you ever said yes to this particular request. So when you were first onboarding this client, you probably didn't even realize that this was going to turn into a headache client because there were some signs, but you were already so knee deep in those missed boundaries. You second guessed yourself, and now you're ending up with someone who changes their minds all the time. They don't respond to your communications. And every time you get an email request from them, you immediately have your blood pressure skyrocket because you know that there's going to be some other issue or emergency. But the signs were there. So I'm going to share 3 early warning signs that you can look at and become aware of to avoid ever having one of these problem clients in your firm again. And I'm just going to let you know that these red flags will help you avoid the clients who drain your energy, who push back on your requests or your boundaries, and they sometimes even make you question, is this all worth it? So I want to say putting this in place is not going to not only make a difference for you, it's going to make a difference for your team as well as your firm's growth as well. Okay, so here is the very first red flag. They lead with price. Think about how many conversations you get into, and the very first question from a potential client is, what's your monthly fee? And there's nothing wrong with knowing the investment. That's okay. But when someone leads with price and they stay focused on it, they have like a one-track mind, this is a sign that they see your service as a commodity as opposed to a solution. They aren't really seeing it as an investment. It is a cost. So answering that question too early will lock you into defending your price right then, but also every time you come up with something new or something additional that needs to be done from here on out. You're teaching them that you are going to be seen as a commodity and that you are willing to accommodate price-sensitive clients. So here's how you want to respond when you get someone who has that one-track mind of what's your price, and they're not going to move on until you answer that. You want to say, before we talk about pricing, I'd like to understand some of the challenges that you're dealing with, and then I can recommend a service level that's a best fit for you and your business. This starts to shift the conversation away from money and focus on solutions. It also sets the expectation that what you provide isn't really just about the time it takes, but about the results that you deliver. So that's the very first one. They have a one-track mind about price and they don't want to hear anything else. Number 2, they test your boundaries early. Think about those clients. Maybe they ask for a weekend call. They expect a proposal or response back to something more complex within 24 hours, or they message you Sunday night at 8:15 with a quick question, expecting you to drop everything and respond back to them immediately. And it might be any one of these things seems rather small, but they also are very telling about how someone actually views you and your firm. So if you actually start to accommodate those early requests, then you teach this client that your time is flexible, business hours are suggestions, but you're really available 24/7. So when this comes up, instead of dropping everything and getting back to them, I want you to have this response. I keep regular business hours, so I'll follow up with you sometime tomorrow. This goes ahead and protects your time, Sunday, 8:15 in the evening. You don't have to get back to them. And also, it sets expectations about how the relationship works. Okay, that's red flag number 2 is the boundaries. And then the third one is they second guess your expertise. You offer a recommendation. Their response is, that's not how my old accountant did it. Or maybe I read something different on Google, or I heard this on TikTok. And I'm just going to say there's nothing wrong with curiosity. You want people to ask questions so that they understand how cash flow and financials work in their business. But someone who over and over and over again is going to challenge your judgment and your suggestions, that person is not looking for advice. They want to be in charge. So think about that. They want to control your firm and how you do things, as opposed to seeing you as the expert that is taking charge of your firm and how to best help your clients. So when you get this person who always pushes back on your suggestions or doesn't follow through on anything, you become defensive, and you might even cave into the request just to keep the peace. So I don't want you arguing with anybody. It's not worth it. However, this is the response that you want. Now, there are several ways we can handle this, but from my experience, this is the approach that tends to work best for businesses in your situation. Let me go ahead and walk you through why. And with this approach, you don't need to any longer justify your suggestion because it's now positioning you as a strategic partner. So you probably have dealt with one of these red flags, if not all 3 of them: the pricing, the boundaries, pushing back on your recommendations. And it is time to have a better client. Because when you are willing to really set your limits and your boundaries to protect yourself, your team, your firm's growth, then things actually get easier. You don't have to say yes to everybody. And these clients, if they start off with these bad habits, they don't get better down the road. So if they are going to question you in the beginning, they are going to question you all the way through. We don't want to have you waste that time when you could be serving a higher quality client who actually appreciates what you do for them and implements. So I don't want you being skeptical of all clients. I actually had that happen to me in the beginning when I started having these experiences. It wasn't a very good place to be. So what I did is I devised some early detection systems. And that's what I want for you also. The early detection system is a way to spot those red flags before they end up becoming costly problems. And when you are able to go ahead and create this early detection system that spots the red flags, then you know who to say yes to and who to say no to and who to maybe think about it and get back to them at a later time. So when we are able to say yes to those higher quality clients, communication is easier. Your scope stays really, really clear, and you actually have more time for that strategic work that goes beyond the compliance level. So this is what I want you to do so you stop second guessing. Come up with a list of all the things that are red flags. Start to list them, and maybe as new ones come up in these conversations, add that to the list. So this is a living document that evolves over time. And go ahead and put that in a column right next to the consultation process that you have with your clients. So when you see any of these red flags, you know that's a clue that maybe this person is a maybe or a firm no, and you need to just move on. And if you feel that you're ready to stop second guessing yourself, you want to be able to have those clients who are a dream to work with, then let's have a conversation. Let's go ahead and meet during a complimentary strategy session where we'll discuss who are your quality clients and how to avoid the ones that end up giving you headaches. If that appeals to you, then go to businesssuccesssolution.com/let's talk to get that started, because the right clients are out there. And you deserve a firm that energizes you and people that are a dream to work with, as opposed to the ones that actually weigh you down. So if you are ready for those right fit clients who are a dream to work with, you want to be able to release the ones that give you headaches and stress you out or stress your team out, then let's connect. I'm Lauren Fogelman, showing accounting firm owners how to be able to double their income working half the time.